See, here's the thing. Like I said in the tweet, I don't have context for this list. I do think those were probably my favorite artists at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been everything. It could have been, hey, I'm waiting on these albums from these people. But that doesn't really make any sense. Maybe I thought these were the best lyricists at the time, but took the shockers on it, so that negates that. I wish I had more context, but I'm so glad that I found that list because, when you think about, oh man, you think about what your list would be in 1997. You probably wouldn't. You might have a few of those people, but overall, you wouldn't have said that you would have all these artists on there.
Yeah.
But so you try to get back in your head. So maybe I was still mad at Biggie, and because I was so pro Tupac at the time. But Biggie had just died, and that was like my favorite album.
Yeah.
Life After Death was one of my favorite albums. But like, why wasn't Scarface on that list? I was big into Scarface at that time. Why wasn't Snoop on there? But I guess Snoop, had The Dogfather out at the time. Maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
So I have so many questions I wish I could go back in time and ask myself about that list. But overall, it's a pretty solid, it's an interesting list.
It's a solid list. What I love about it, though, and this is something that my list would not have looked like from 97. 97 was my freshman year at college. And I remember that summer, the arguments with like the new homies, all the homies that I met from LA, because it was just like, it was East Coast or it was West Coast, and there was nothing in between.
Right.
It was, like we were not, I don't even think I had listened to anything other than Tupac singles at that point and then him becoming on road trips, becoming one of my favorite artists because, there was only a few double albums at that time that you could listen to anyway.
Right.
But no, I do.
It's just a funny ass list.
But even in 97, already having Jay there, in your top 20.
That's the most impressive thing is that I had Jay on that list in 90. That was pre Volume 1.
Yeah, no, and it wouldn't be really until Volume 1 that I think everyone starts paying attention. And
Volume 2.
Well, it was the transition. To me, it was the VHS of
Streets is Watching.
Streets is Watching, exactly.
That was it. You're right.
And that was because what they did then was give you a glimpse into the culture, the idea, everything that Rockefeller was doing. And then at that point, you had to make a decision of like, oh, I'm invested in this, in the world that was just created. Even as haphazard as that whole movie was, like there was just, you needed that visual component. And Dame was so smart about creating that because it created, I think, that was where the folklore of Rockefeller really solidifies, because that was a VHS tape that I think I watched like every other day.
When you watch it now, it's pretty cringe, but back then it was like the coolest thing ever, right?